Well, first it was like, well, it was the security guard did it. So the guy that you think is there to protect you. And then later it turns out, as I get more and more information, the actual hosts of Airbnb are being implicated, so that there was no way for her to actually, once she set this in motion and set this trip aside and did the reservations, that's it, her fate was sealed. Because alright, so welcome to our channel. We're Retire Earlier and Better, where we talk about all things retire early, at home or abroad, whatever works for you, whatever you want to do. And in this story, she wanted to go to Costa Rica for her birthday. What's so complicated? I mean, she rented an Airbnb. I mean, you know, that's what everybody does, right? She wanted to go to Costa Rica for her birthday. She rented an Airbnb. She was a woman by herself. What, you know, what could have she done differently? I mean, when you get an Airbnb, I think that nowadays with these online corporations, I think that we just don't think twice. They become sort of like a household name. Like, I'm sure there's other places that you can use, but it's like we always go back to the one we always use, you know, the one that we're most familiar with. But I'm not sure that it would have mattered whether she used Airbnb or some other outfit that's a similar kind of business. So it's not a complicated story. I mean, it's simple enough, right? I mean, I know and hear of people that do things like this. It sounds like a really neat thing to do, and I'm sure a lot of people do it and don't have any problems, you know. But single black female goes to Costa Rica for her birthday and never returns. It turns out that it was sexually motivated, so rape was the motive. I mean, it just sounds so, what's the word? Packaged. It sounds so packaged, right, hon? But single black female, and we've done other videos. Check out our video library on our crime section. You have different reactions to these kinds of videos. You've got the people that, you know, just shrug it off. Big whoop, there's crime everywhere. Sure, there's crime everywhere, but in these crime scenarios, you're the target. It's like, you know, you live in different areas of the world, and in different areas of the world, the crime, it's under the general umbrella of crime. You can put every single one of these stories under that general umbrella of crime. But when you compartmentalize the stories and you start saying, well, wait a minute, the way crimes happen, and you start seeing similarities in these stories. You know, you got similarities, single young female, whether black or white, doesn't seem to matter. Color has nothing to do with it. We've done videos, black guy murdered in Colombia, black, white, doesn't matter. Doesn't seem to matter if they're black and only go where there's more blacks, or if it's whites that go where there's more whites. It doesn't matter. The crimes are perpetrated a certain way in different parts of the world. I know that in the States, it was all about neighborhoods. Well, you know, you go over here, this is a quote-unquote better neighborhood, you know, and Americans still do that when they go abroad. Well, like when they go to Cuenca, Ecuador, this is a quote-unquote better neighborhood. Of course, there's no such thing when you get to Latin America. You know, expats are getting robbed at knife point on the street in the better, quote-unquote, better neighborhoods of Cuenca or any other city with this...
and that just happened recently.
Recently, this is very recent. Yeah, this is not from, you know, ages ago. It's happening right now as we speak. Matter of fact, one of the videos we made when we came back to Ecuador, went back to Ecuador last year. Well, we left Europe and went to Ecuador. And the video we made is this business is flourishing or something, and it was about how people now get to follow the quote-unquote regulation, never mind that it's not real law. They get to quote-unquote follow the regulation and rob you, rob people, rob banks, rob whatever they want, and have a mask and a hat on. Whereas before, if you had a mask and a hat on, you knew to be careful and something was wrong. But now everybody's got, you know, that was the gist of that video. We made that when we came back to Ecuador after the 2020 farce, thingy. And, you know, beautiful gal goes down there, Costa Rica, for her birthday, and it turns out they figure out that the perp, well, first it was like, well, it was the security guard did it. So the guy that you think is there to protect you. And then later it turns out, as I get more and more information, that the people, the actual hosts of Airbnb are being implicated, so that there was no way for her to actually, once she set this in motion and set this trip aside and did the reservations, that's it, her fate was sealed. Because the guys that rented out, that were the hosts, the Airbnb hosts, they're implicated. And so it was not just the host, but also the security guard. So the very core people that you're trusting, right? And this all goes back to the fact that, you know, young woman traveling alone.
The very same thing was happening to women in Airbnbs in Vilcabamba, Ecuador.
Yeah. Same thing we said in a different video. There's women travelers that were being, you know, raped and murdered in a hotel, in a hostel. So remember, we do these videos to highlight things that people should think about, give it more thought, think about how these things are happening. You know, we're not trying to tell you one way or another. People are always going to do what they're going to do. Especially when somebody gets it in their head, oh, I'm going to go do this, and, you know, it seems to be culturally acceptable, at least at this time frame of our existence. It seems to be culturally, because I say it that way, because it hasn't always been culturally acceptable. Just from a safety point of view and a wisdom point of view. It's like, is this a smart thing? Is this a wise thing to do? You know, send a pretty young woman, travel alone, foreign country, boom, her fate was sealed the minute she made. She didn't, you know, have to walk around in her skimpy bikini before anything happened. Her fate was sealed right when she made that reservation, because the perps were right there, the ones that she was depending on. And we're very sorry to hear these stories happen. They don't have to happen. And so we hope that maybe just a few people see these videos, the kind of videos we make, and realize that, look, you really got to give this some thought and maybe reconsider certain ways of doing things. Again, it's up to you. We thank you for coming to our channel. Thanks for watching the video. Any other kind of content you want to hear, please let us know in the comments what you thought of the video or any other content you'd like to hear. Have a wonderful day as always.